Hello everyone, and I'm Autobot Sonic the Telltale Gamer, bringing latest and Telltale games, Transformers, and more. Now, today, I think we are gearing up towards the end of the Quintessons arc with these last 5 episodes. This episode right now we're going to be reviewing probably marks the beginning of the end for the Quintessons arc, and then next review will be the finale of the Quintessons arc, which I'm really excited to cover. So for this review, we're going to be looking at Transformers Cyberverse Season 3, Episode 13, The Judge. Now, with this episode, I gotta say, I had like the past few episodes with like the trial, the prisoner, the alliance, and the scientist. This is honestly probably my favorite episode out of like the last 5 episodes we've gotten, probably like last 5 or 8 episodes. I've really enjoyed this one, and it's so cool to see the Quintessons arc being wrapped up to an end in an interesting way. But I will say this episode does have a few problems, but not to the biggest degree at the other episodes did. So we're gonna go ahead and see everything this episode did right and what it did wrong. The Judge starts off with Skybite and Jetfire basically doing some recon on the big Quintessons tower where all the Cybertronians had been previously captured by a loop, and so they come back to Iaconis' hand, which was lifted out of the ground by Windblade back in the last episode, the Alliance, to give to Perceptor some sort of like scouting information that he and Skybite had been doing while flying around the Quintessons tower. So with this information, Perceptor and Wheeljack are able to come up with a conclusion that the reason why the Quintessons are able to travel between universes is because they have some sort of multiversal warp drive that allows their tower to essentially travel between universes and destroy each one there. So it's like Wheeljack's telling this, I believe, to Perceptor, Optimus, Dead End, and Bumblebee, if I remember correctly. But then Dead End, just not having any of it, decides to go ahead and leave when he comes across Megatron inside the little stasis pod area that we saw Hot Rod's swirl everyone explore back into Citizen. So Megatron's there still sulking after refusing to work with the Autobots back in the last episode of the Alliance. But when Dead End talks to him, he states that he knows a way that he can convince the Megatron to help him out, though we don't learn this until towards the end of the episode. Regardless of that, though, Megatron seems to be on board with helping out the Autobots and the rest of the Autobots and Decepticons with taking down the Quintessons, when Wheeljack comes up with a plan to sneak aboard the Quintessons tower and manipulate the multiversal drive in such a way that it forces the Quintessons to head out to another universe. So, but honestly, Wheeljack, I think you're kind of, even though that's not what ends up happening, I do think this plan is a little bit selfish, in my opinion, because you're basically just saying, oh yeah, we'll send the Quintessons to another universe and make that some other Autobot and Decepticons universe's problem. Like, it's not our problem, but we can we'll let the other Autobots and Decepticons deal with it. But I get where they're coming from, and just like send them to another universe so they don't bother him, but it just kind of has some selfish implications in that. But anyway, Hot Rod is confused as to how they're going to take down the tower, considering that's going to be swarming with Sharkticons and Quintessons drones. But when McAdam suddenly suggests that they should instead try turning off Iaconis' cloaking field, and Hot Rod, everyone are just like totally against this, because the second they do, they're going to be swarmed with Sharkticons and Quintessons. But McAdam states that's exactly what they want, because while everyone's busy attacking Iaconis, no one will be there to guard the tower and allow a small strike team to go in and sabotage the multiverse drive. So eventually Hot Rod does agree to this plan, and alongside Soundwave puts together different teams to basically attack the Quintessons tower and defend Iaconis. So he puts it's really cool to see that he puts most of the teams that we saw working together back in the Alliance together to defend Iaconis. Like, we see one team composed of Grimlock, Cup, and Striker, another team composed of RC, Lockdown, and Shadow Striker, and it's cool to see this have all of them working together to battle the Quintessons, because again, for this season, Cyberverse just for some reason gotten really good with all these large-scale battles, and I love to see all these characters just work together in different spots, especially like RC and Shadow Striker get some really good scenes here. But anyway, the main plot focuses on a smaller strike team consisting of Optimus, Megatron, Bumblebee, and Dead End, alongside Wheeljack, all heading into the Quintessons tower to affect the multiversal drive. And as they're going through this, while the Autobots and Decepticons are busy fighting off the Quintessons back at Iaconis, they come across the multiversal drive eventually, and it basically leads to there's a huge portal that can allow the Quintessons to travel to whatever universe they want. So Wheeljack, Megatron, and Dead End head up into this small little shuttle that controls the multiversal drive, while Optimus, and Bumblebee and ends up covering them. It's at this point where the scientist comes back, who is the only person still on board the Quintesson Tower, while the judge leads all the other Sharkticons and Quintesson drones to attack Ioconus. So it's at this point that Optimus and Bumblebee are battling the scientist, and I gotta say, it's kind of underwhelming considering just how easily the scientist goes down. Like, they just maybe shoot him like twice, kills him, he drops down another body, and they take 2 shots again to kill that one. But eventually, though, the scientist gets a smart idea to eventually just drop like 12 different bodies of himself at once to attack, and that proves to be a little more challenge. So while Bumblebee and Optimus are dealing with the scientist, Dead End, Megatron, and Wheeljack are busy working on sabotaging the multiversal drive. So when Wheeljack finally gets it going, Dead End decides that he and Megatron are going to betray Wheeljack by shooting him and kicking him out of the shuttle, with Megatron stating that he is instead going to leave this universe with Dead End to find another universe full of Decepticons to conquer instead. And I gotta say, I can understand Dead End wanting to do this because we've seen throughout the whole Loop arc, especially in his debut episode, The Dead End, where he just wasn't really into the whole resistance movement and just thought the whole thing was a waste of time. But with Megatron, it just kind of paints Megatron as an incredibly selfish character. And I know Megatron hasn't really gotten a lot of development in Cyberverse aside from maybe a few episodes in Season 1, like Megatron is my hero. But to see Megatron just devolve into a selfish character where he's willing to just abandon his whole army just to go ahead and try and find another enemy, another army in another universe, it doesn't really sit well with me and doesn't really make me like Cyberverse Megatron too that much. I liked when he had good interaction with Optimus back in episode 2, like especially their conversations in the episodes Parlay and Trials, like when Megatron was almost insulted by Optimus's like lack of intelligence on Megatron's history as a gladiator. I thought that episode was really funny, but it just seems kind of like bad to me that Megatron just sort of devolved into this spoiled brat essentially. But regardless, the shuttle leaves with Megatron and Dead End leaving the battle to go into another universe, and we'll probably see more of Megatron and Dead End in a future episode, probably. Maybe like there'll be an episode or 2 focused on them after the Quintessons arc is over, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Anyway, the fight continues with the Judge's forces overwhelming all the other Autobots and Decepticons that are holding down Ioconus, while Optimus, Bumblebee, and Wheeljack manage to sabotage failed to sabotage the multiversal drive because Megatron and Dead End left with it. So when the Judge realizes that the multiversal drive was stolen, the Judge activates this huge like energy wave that knocks out nearly all the other Decepticons inside Ioconus. So it's up to Hot Rod and Soundwave now to try and take down the Judge, as they end up jumping onto the Judge alongside, I believe it's Clobber and Whirl. So it's cool to see that those 4 characters who that we've been following since the Loop, which was basically 6 episodes ago now, well, not 6 episodes, actually more like 7 or 8 episodes ago, are working together to bring down the Judge that they've been fighting these past several episodes. And they actually do manage to kill the Judge, and in the process, as it's going out of control, shooting lasers everywhere, it does manage to destroy the Quintesson Tower, presumably with a scientist still inside, and basically wipes out the whole Quintesson fleet. So after the dust settles, Hot Rod and Soundwave emerge from the wreckage alongside all the other Autobots and Decepticons, seeing that they have won and that the Quintessons have been defeated. So it seems to be all good, well and done dandy, until another figure emerges from the debris, and that was the supposedly destroyed Judge that the scientist was creating. That was to basically be this universe's Judge back in episode 11, The Scientist. Only this time, though, we learned that this Judge, one of the heads, is that of Starscream. So Starscream has been assimilated into the Cybertronian Judge, as I'm going to call it, and Starscream decides to go ahead and start attacking the Autobot Decepticons. So to make Starscream again, basically assuming the scientist is dead as well, to make Starscream the final villain in the Quintesson arc, honestly, I wasn't expecting this, but I am here for it. I'm interested to see where they go with Starscream being this, because the last time we saw Starscream, it was in episode 16 of season 2, Ghost Town, when he left the arc with Croatons. So I'm assuming things didn't turn out so well for Croaton and Starscream. That ended up with Starscream ending up becoming part of this Quintesson, the Cybertronian Judge. Though we'll probably learn in one of the later episodes in this Quintesson finale how exactly Starscream became the Judge. I'm looking forward to that. And so that was my review of Transformers Cyberverse Season 3, Episode 13, The Judge. If I had to rate this episode, I would give it, honestly, a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed Hot Rod and Soundwave's dynamics as true leaders now, leading the Quintesson Resistance to finally defeat the Judge and the rest of the Quintessons. We got some great interactions with other Autobot Decepticons like RC and Shadow Striker together, Skybite and Jetfire. Even a great part to see Bumblebee become a main character again with him, Optimus, Wheeljack, Megatron, and Dead End attacking the Quintesson Tower to get the multiversal drive. But again, Megatron's characterization basically being devolved into this basically spoiled brat who just wants to go ahead and leave this universe to go ahead and try to find another universe of Decepticons doesn't really sit well with me, and I hope that when we eventually meet up with Dead End and Megatron again, probably in a few episodes down the line, things are better and that we get a better characterization for Megatron. Dead End made sense for Dead End to do it, but I'm not sure Megatron would do such a thing. But that's going to be it for this review. I'll be back soon with the final review of the Quintessons arc, which is going to be a big one again. It'll be episodes 14 through 17, The End of the Universe, parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you do not want to miss my review of these episodes, because I'm sure if the Battle for Cybertron arc with those 4 episodes was any indication, Cyberverse absolutely nails it with these 4-part events, and I'm really excited to cover it. So if you enjoyed this review, be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Take it away, Bumblebee.
Bumblebee out.
And I might know what I've